All those that love me, subscribe to me. Nuclear Clown TV is on the air. I am your completely out of control host, Dave. I cannot stop. I am out of control. And I'm here today to talk to you about, surprise, surprise, some dorky shit. When I was young and growing up on a diet of Big Macs, neglect, and role-playing games, I started out playing Dungeons & Dragons for a really long time, getting killed a lot, throwing axes at things, and getting axes thrown at me. And I liked it. It was, at the time, it was a lot of fun, stuff like that. And then I played another game and got into another game a while later, which really opened a whole lot of doors, and I saw a lot of things I never saw before. That game is Vampire the Masquerade. Yes, that is a Vampire the Masquerade license plate on my door. I apologize. I have no excuse, but at least it's not on my car. So maybe there's hope for me? No, of course there isn't. But Vampire the Masquerade, they had a lot of really revolutionary, groundbreaking ideas and things that at least I thought that I've never seen in a game. They introduced a kind of conscience system where you feel bad about stuff and your humanity can degrade, and the more your humanity degrades, the more you lose yourself to the undead, infernal beast inside you that wants to kill and maim and drink blood and vandalize property with the spray cans. And I never saw that before. In Dungeons & Dragons, you have your alignment. You know, you're a lawful good paladin who likes cupcakes and weddings and Sunday Mass, but you're in an orcish village slaughtering children and women, and there's just no penalty at all for that, because they're monsters and they probably have, you know, gems or something like that. Didn't even address any moral issues. Alignment was more like, you know, a joke, and that tied into weapons and shit you could use, whatever. But Vampire, it's a big deal, and they have, you know, with the other codes, you know, the other kind of moral guidelines vampires follow, the paths of enlightenment. I mean, really, to use, you know, to be gay, really deep and complex stuff that really you don't find in a lot of role-playing games. And I loved it. I mean, just the fact that you could make a character and start out with a 5 in something, which is like one of the best in the world. Really? I could start out good in something, not like Dungeons & Dragons, where you start out horrible and everything? I love that. I love that a whole lot. And the fact that, you know, the health levels were constant. And the prince had 7 health levels. You have 7 health levels. A guy on the street has 7 health levels. I really like that. You know, it made it really cool. For me, all those differences make for a really good game, and the emphasis was on role-playing and not combat with Vampire the Masquerade. I mean, it makes perfect sense. If you have potentially eternity in front of you, why are you going to pick a fight with a homeless man? He might kill you, you know. In Vampire the Masquerade, you don't play a super strong vampire, but you do have a lot of nice tricks, you know, and I think it's a really good blend, at least for me it was, of potential and power. You know, you don't start out too strong, you don't start out too weak, in my opinion. And the game, to begin with, wasn't even about how strong are you. It's about who you know, your contacts. It's a very politically motivated game, which favors a lot of role-playing as opposed to combat, which is great. I mean, I couldn't tell you the difference in playing a Dungeons & Dragons session and a Vampire the Masquerade session. A lot more planning, a lot more thinking on both parts, on the storyteller and the player. And, you know, all the clans were great. When I first played, I was like, Egyptian vampires? What is that? That's stupid. But, you know, now every clan I love to death. But it did have some problems. But like any role-playing game, it got overexposed. They had books coming out for stuff that simply should not have been books. Money grabs because they're running out of ideas, and one writing team replaces the next writing team, and then they start canceling stuff that was done and rewriting stuff. And like a comic book that goes on too long, continuity starts to get all screwed up. But that I didn't like. Too many books, but really, there's a lot of games that are guilty of that. Also, the rule of one, hated that. Hated it a lot. Many times I'd say, wow, I have a dice pool of 7 or 8. And I'd roll it, and not only would I fail, I would botch in spectacular fashion because I rolled like 6 ones, and it happens all the time. If it's going to affect the game that much, get rid of it. And Vampire and really all the White Wolf setting books like this had their tales of the end of the world. You know, in Vampire it was Gehenna, and Werewolf it was the Apocalypse, and in Changeling it was Black and White Day. I don't remember. But what White Wolf did, which I thought was really, really cool and really ballsy, was they did their run of books, and then they said, you know what, let's do the end of the world. And they actually put out a book for each game about the end of the world and how it happens. And they gave you like four scenarios. You pick which one you like, which is good. I really like that. A lot of people will say, oh, it's like The Sopranos. They're like, well, what do you think happens? But there's a difference. The Sopranos ending was total shit because they didn't give you any options, really. They said, well, you make it up, which is a total cop-out. Lame writing, lazy writing, you name it, it sucked. But the Gehenna book was like, well, this is a monumental event. So here are 4 scenarios. You pick the best that's for you and your party and your game. Because not everybody runs Vampire the same. So of course you want to have different kind of ways to end it. If you're playing a heavy combat thing, a heavy combat campaign with a lot of, combat clans and stuff like that, if the end of the world was just a straight, delve into your inner psyche to reclaim your humanity, your players aren't going to appreciate that. It's kind of like, where'd that come from? So they gave different options, which I liked a lot. I thought it was a really good idea. And I thought, man, that takes balls. You're going to end something, and you end it, and you say there's going to be an end of the world, and you make one. I like that. I like that a lot. And then they redid the whole world, all the games. They redid them again and started over, like 2 days later. I wasn't happy about that. I was so proud that they said, you know what, we made enough books. Let's just end this and move on. But they couldn't walk away from all my money. So they did Vampire the Requiem, and they did all the other books. They redid them. I'm not going to talk about them. The Requiem did some stuff I liked. It condensed the clans, which I think was a great idea, because really, when you think about it, the Ventru, the Zamitzi, the La Sombra, the Giovanni, they're all really the same with regional differences and minor differences. They're all about money, power, and manipulating folks, right? Oh, but the Giovanni are necromancers and the Zamitzi are weird. Yeah. Regional differences, I'm talking about the main idea of the clan remains the same. Setites, Toreador, perverts, the sick ones, you throw them, the sexy ones, you throw them all in one clan. I like that they kind of mashed everything together, Gangrel and Bruja, general outsiders, so just make them general outsiders and throw them in the Gangrel. Malkavians and Nosferatu kind of melded together for the new Nosferatu, and I like it. I liked a lot of it. But, listen, I have so many Vampire the Masquerade books. It's incredible. The dork karma I have amassed is gonna, I'm gonna be reborn as the comic book guy from The Simpsons in my next life because of all this bullshit I'm doing now. And the Requiem stuff, I tried to hang with it, and I tried really hard to like it. But when you give me so much information on one, like, the camera on the Sabbat was just so well done. And now the Covenants and Belial's Brood and Seven, and I don't know. I never bought it. I never really got into it, and it's a shame because it's a good game, But I don't know. They got rid of the rule of one, which I love. Thank you very much. But again, it was kind of like too little, too late. I'm not gonna buy all this shit again, and I bought I have a lot of Vampire the Requiem, and Requiem for Rome was actually really good. That I like. Get those 2 core books, get that and the Camarilla book, and play that. But as for Requiem, there's something about it that I don't like. I do like the idea of the Covenant and the clan being different, the philosophical differences, but I don't know. At the end of the day, I just prefer Vampire the Masquerade. Like tweak the rules, get rid of the rule of one, and give me Vampire the Masquerade because it was really really good. Man, there's so much more I want to go into, but I'm running out of time. So